top stories tonight. Federal government Labour to return to negotiation table over new minimum wage. Rivers State Governor Fubara declares opponents defeated. National Judicial Council issues warning letter to 3 judges, bars them from elevation. Rwandan President Kagame submits candidate file ahead of presidential election. Thank you for joining us. My name is Felicity Ezewuike. Our coverage begins in Nigeria with updates on the minimum wage negotiations. The tripartite committee on minimum wage will reconvene on May 23 to negotiate a new minimum wage after organized labor worked out on May 15. Committee Chairman Buka Goni, in a letter, said members are willing to revive the initial 48,000 naira proposal. The letter also urged labor leaders to engage their members and attend the upcoming meeting. The Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress are demanding a 615,000 naira minimum wage, significantly higher than the government's offer. The organized private sector proposed 54,000 naira. Following the breakdown in talks, NLC President Joe Ajero insisted on the 615,000 naira, citing the economic needs of an average Nigerian family. He blamed the government and private sector for the stalled negotiations. More updates for you on the political crisis bedeviling Rivers State. The governor, Minna Fubara, has declared that his battles were over as he had defeated his opponents who were not sleeping with their 2 eyes open. He said he had turned the tide against his opponents, noting that he was still in office, about to mark his first anniversary, contrary to the plan by his detractors. Fubara spoke amid the raging feud between him and his predecessor and estranged political godfather, Nyesom Wike. Addressing the national and state leadership of the Youth Council at the Government House in Port Harcourt, Fubara said he appreciated their support and the assurances that they were with him. Earlier, our correspondent, Bernard Kede, who is live in Port Harcourt, spoke with a former deputy governor of Rivers State, Gabriel Toby.
We have always stood for peace because we think that this state, what we need is peace. Without peace, we can't progress, and there will be no development. And in any case, as a family, politics or no politics, we should be able to sort out our problems. Now, coming to the issue of commissioners resigning and who said they are pro-Wike, well, one will expect, of course, that ordinarily every commissioner appointed by a governor shows loyalty and allegiance to the governor, who is his principal. And I'm sure you know that in the current parlance, politicians say there's no 99.9% loyalty. It's 100% loyalty. And so I expect that the commissioners that have resigned actually should have done that long ago. Because you find that each of them said, I'm loyal to the former governor who is now a minister. Now, if you're loyal to him and he's no longer governor, they have no business being in the cabinet of the man you're not loyal to. I mean, that is. Going out of his cabinet, of course, releases his tension and, of course, makes him work with those he can trust. Because if you're working with people you can't trust, and they are your first-line advisors, and they are the people to carry on the cabinet decisions back to the administration and so on, then you find that every time you'll be sabotaged. The progress won't be there. Whatever you're doing in your government will not be noticed because you're working with people who are not with you.
In the meantime, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says is not distracted by the ongoing crisis in Rivers State, but is instead focused on his duties as a minister. Wike made the statement during a final inspection tour of projects to be inaugurated in the nation's capital on Friday. The former governor and his successor, Minna Fubara, have been at loggerheads since October 2023, when some lawmakers in the state began impeachment proceedings against the governor. Last Saturday, while addressing a civic reception, the minister stated that he had made a mistake, which he promised to correct at the appropriate time. He, however, did not specify if having supported Fubara to succeed him as governor was the mistake. Let's head up north, still politics. The All Progressive Congress in Zamfara State has suspended Sani Jaji, the member representing Kaura, Namada, Benin, Magaji Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives over alleged anti-party activities. It cited factionalization of party organs, refusal to attend party meetings when invited, lack of respect for party leaders, among other anti-party activities, as reasons for suspending the lawmaker. Addressing newsmen at the party secretariat in Gusau, APC Publicity Secretary in Zamfara, Yusuf Idris, said the suspension emanated from Benin Magaji ward, where the lawmaker hails from. Nigeria's electoral body says plans have been concluded to conduct rerun elections in several constituencies across the country without political representation. INEC chairman made this known while meeting with heads of security agencies as part of the commission's engagement with stakeholders ahead of Edo and Ondo governorship elections. My colleague Amadine Uyi tells us more.
It was a meeting with heads of security agencies in the country. The meeting is part of a series of engagement by Nigeria's electoral body. The chairman of the body gave an update on the security situation in the last off-cycle polls across the country.
On the 23rd of January, we met to review the security arrangement for the by-elections and court-ordered rerun elections in 26 states of the Federation. I am glad to report that except for 2 state constituencies in Enugu and Kano states, the elections in 45 constituencies have been concluded without major incidents and winners declared.
He says that efforts are being put in place to conduct elections in the remaining constituencies without political representation.
Following consultations with stakeholders, the Commission is remobilizing to conclude the outstanding rerun elections in Enugu South 1 State Constituency of Enugu State and Gari, formerly known as Kunchi Local Government Area, for the Gari's Anyawa State Constituency of Kano State. Similarly, I would like to inform you of vacancies in 4 states of the Federation that will necessitate by-elections in 3 state assembly constituencies and 1 federal constituency as a result of death or resignation of honorable members. We look forward to working with the security agencies to secure the environment without which peaceful elections won't happen.
The National Security Advisor, who was represented at the meeting, commended the performance of security agencies in the last off-cycle elections and urged them to be more sensitive in deploying personnel for the upcoming Edo and Ondo states governorship polls.
We should be a bit more careful in our deployments in terms of the numbers so that we will not overburden the system.
The Commission also urged voters to take advantage of the ongoing continuous voters registration. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
Coming up, a court denies Binance firm executive Gambayan bail over money laundering. Details after the break. If you just joined us, you're watching Tonight. A reminder of our top stories. Federal government labor to return to negotiation table over new minimum wage. Rivers State Governor Fubara declares opponents defeated. National Judicial Council issues warning letters to 3 judges, bars them from elevation. Rwandan President Kagame submits candidate file ahead of presidential election. Let's head to the courts. The National Judicial Council, chaired by Chief Justice Olukayode Ariwola, resolved at its 105th meeting to issue warnings to Justice Iang Ekwo of the Federal High Court and Justice G.B. Brinkins Okolosi of the Delta State High Court. Justice Ekwo was warned for abusing discretionary power by wrongly granting an ex parte order and is barred from elevation for 2 years. Justice Brinkins Okolosi was warned for failing to deliver a judgment on time and is barred from elevation for 3 years. Justice Amina Shehu of Yobe State High Court was also cautioned for issuing a writ of possession conferring title on the defendant in a suit when there was no subsisting judgment by any court to enable his lordship issue the writ. The NJC reviewed 35 petitions and will further investigate 8. Additionally, 86 judicial officers were recommended for various court appointments. A federal high court in Abuja on Friday denied the bail application of Binance executive Tigran Gambayan. Justice Emeka Nwite, while delivering the ruling, held that he refused the bail application, having carefully gone through the application submitted before him, and resolved that the defendant will jump bail if granted. Gambayan, his company Binance Holdings Limited, and a fellow top executive currently on the run, Nadeem Njawala, were charged by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission with money laundering and terrorism financing. To discuss this, we're joined by legal practitioner Stanley Nebo. Stanley, it's good to have you. Could security breaches or vulnerabilities within Binance infrastructure have influenced the court's decision regarding bail for its executive?
Yeah, well, if you take a careful look at the dynamics of the operations of cryptocurrency market generally, it dwells on anonymity. And if you look at it, the Binance situation is such that we have had an instance where 2 people were actually detained for questioning. 1 person seemed to have escaped. And considering the fact that at the moment they don't even have a known corporate headquarters anywhere in the world, I'm sure that the decision of the justice in that matter is just very, very right.
How does the regulatory landscape surrounding cryptocurrency impact legal decisions regarding bail for executives of major cryptocurrency platforms like Binance?
Well, if you look at the dynamics of cryptocurrency trading generally, you would see that there are lots of gaps that need to be filled. There are lots of questions that need answers. There are no clear regulatory framework that supports the operations of cryptocurrency trading and its operations within Nigeria. This is a global issue, and if you check the trajectory of Binance as an entity, you will find out that countries like India, America, and the United Arab Emirates have called them to question. That shows you that Nigeria is taking the right step in the right direction concerning issues like this. At the moment, there are laws in Nigeria that need to be respected, and everybody who wants to do business in Nigeria needs to go about it. Laws such as the Company and Allied Matters Act, the Investment and Securities Act, as well as our Money Laundering Act, are extant and need to be respected as long as you want to do business in Nigeria. Has Binance made these conditions precedent so far from available fact? I think no. So I think that they have questions to answer. And more importantly, a couple of cases have been established against them. Let them come and provide the information that the government needs for the good of national security. Ultimately, I believe Nigeria will be the ultimate beneficiary in this process.
Can you perhaps explain how compliance with anti-money laundering and know your customer regulations might influence bail decisions in cases involving cryptocurrency?
Well, as it relates to money laundering generally, without even narrowing down to crypto, I just said to you that cryptocurrency operations are not even well provided for in our jurisprudence, right? But on money laundering, if you are a financial institution or a designated financial institution, as long as you are trading in money and you have people using your platform, the Extant Money Laundering Act, which was passed in 2022, by the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, is clear that if you are doing business relating to finance and all other contiguous things, you need to put in certain guidelines in place in compliance with international best practices on money laundering, AML, and what you call the financial action against terrorism. Because if you are not able to explain who is doing business on your platform, and it's as simple as that, you must be able to provide to regulatory authorities, in this instance, the Special Control Unit for Money Laundering, which is called SCUMO, you must provide them with basic information such as who is trading on your platform, who's buying, who's selling, how much is passing through your platform. The question here is, has Binance complied with this very basic law? I don't think so, from the facts available so far. This is not to prejudice their case, but from facts that have been put in the media so far and the proof of evidence provided in court, I don't think they met these conditions yet.
All right, for specific cases, what factors does the court consider when determining whether a defendant should be granted bail in cases involving complex financial crimes like these?
The requirement for financial crimes, yes, it's a bailable offense. However, there are conditions precedent you need to meet, one of which is, one, you must actually show the court sufficiently so that you are going to stand trial. If your availability for trial cannot be guaranteed, it's very difficult for the court to exercise its discretion in your favor to grant you bail in any case at all, especially when it is bordering around national security, as this current case is. Why do I say so? The Binance question is still very creepy, because if you look at it properly, two people were questioned, one person escaped under unknown circumstances. You are talking to faceless people on the international scene without a corporate head office. If you were to grant him bail today, that man is a flight risk, according to what the court said. This is without prejudice to his fundamental rights, but I do not think, from available facts, the court has not done the right thing in the circumstance. He actually, in granting bail, most times courts could hold your passport, but even when the passport of his colleague was seized, he still found a way to disappear. And it makes it interesting that this man in question who stood trial today is actually, he has the dual citizenship of America and Armenia, which means that at any point in time, he can access any of his passports and fly out of the country, and that jeopardizes the case in its entirety.
All right, Stanley. We'll have to leave it there. I'm sure we will be hearing more about this case in the coming days. Thank you for speaking with us.
My pleasure, absolutely.
Staying with court matters, the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has convicted and sentenced a medical doctor and founder of MedContour Services Limited, Dr. Anuoluwakpo Adepoju, who was standing trial for conducting a failed plastic surgery that resulted in the death of one Nneka Onwuzilibo in 2020. Justice Mohammed Liman found her guilty and sentenced her to a one-year jail term. However, she was given the option of paying a 100,000 naira in lieu of the jail term. Reacting to the judgment of former Director General of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, Babatunde Irukera lauded the verdict. Let's also tell you that a fire outbreak has been reported at the new NNPC terminal formerly OVH, Kayode Street, Marine Beach, Apapa, Lagos State. The fire resulted from a spillage of petroleum products within the perimeter of the tank farm. Concerted efforts are ongoing with various emergency responders within the oil and gas industry to contain the situation. The authorities assured that the emergency operations are under control with no immediate threat of escalating. Meanwhile, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has clarified that there was no fire at their depot in Apapa, Lagos. Earlier, reports by the Lagos State Fire Service mistakenly identified an NNPCL terminal as the site of the fire. NNPCL's Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Olufemi Shoneye, said the incident occurred at HOGL Energy Limited's tank farm. The fire caused by petroleum product spillage has since been extinguished. NNPCL and other depots have resumed loading activities, and the incident will not affect the supply and distribution of petroleum products nationwide. It is an understatement that modern global economy runs on energy. However, the energy transition in Nigeria faces multiple challenges rooted in the country's economic, social, and political landscape. At the Dele Momodu Leadership Lecture, leaders in Nigeria and across Africa came together and brainstormed on the way forward. News Center's Bettina Uweli reports.
The campaign for cleaner energy has continued to receive prominence. This lecture, held at Nigeria's Economic Nerve Center, Lagos, focused on the critical issue of energy in Nigeria. Professor Bath Nnaji, the keynote speaker, addressed the urgent need to resolve Nigeria's energy crisis, emphasizing the importance of a non-partisan approach to this issue.
Even though the Joe Biden administration has a special envoy on climate change, it is easier and cheaper to run a natural gas-fired plant than a coal-fired one. As a fact, in fact, a coal-fired plant, let's use Nigeria, would cost you anywhere from a gas-fired will cost you anywhere from $1.3 to $1.5 million to install 1 megawatt. But coal-fired would cost you at least $2 million. So, but that's not quite the issue. The issue is about availability of the fuel.
Former Ghanaian President John Dramani Mahama, who chaired the lecture, shared insights from his experience in tackling electricity challenges in Ghana. The discussion aimed to foster collaboration among political players and technical experts to find sustainable solutions for Nigeria's energy sector.
The energy sector is the foundation for economic growth. Nigeria must take the leadership mantle to build a regional consensus that will provide a more promising future for Africa. African leaders must define their energy transition modalities and choose the most equitable, just transition. Nigeria has what it takes to lead the path for sub-Saharan Africa to advance our collective energy agenda by engaging its neighbors, such as Ghana, to achieve the delivery of reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy for the whole sub-region.
The event was also attended by prominent Nigerian political and traditional leaders, including captains of industry. The politics of energy in Africa are shaped by a complex interplay of factors, including resource distribution, infrastructure, governance, and international relations. With the right strategies and commitments, Nigeria's energy transition plan may be seamless. In Lagos, for News Central, Bettina Uweli.
Thank you, Bettina. Let's head on now to Delta State, where the government has commenced demolition of structures erected on lands owned by the state government. News Center's correspondent, Austin Azu, who monitored the exercise, completes this report.
House owners and occupants of these buildings around Musa Camp area, Asaba, are washing helplessly as their property are reduced to rubble by the bulldozers and excavators of the Delta State Task Force are recovering of government lands.
Boko Haram pursued me from Kano State. I'm here in my state already. See, I'm a widow with 7 children. See what our government told these people to demolish our houses. If they tell us to regularize, at least we borrow money to regularize to the government. This hard time, where can I get another place to keep my children? With 7 children, even this GRA, for this university, my 3 children is there.
See where we can't demolish. We know they drag the land for una. But at least una for say make we give us like 1 week or 2 weeks. Say make we pack out everything. See what you wanna do. Everything that does scatter them.
Prior to the demolition, the Onitsha and Iyasere communities have laid claims to the land, saying it was leased to a missionary in 1954. But the Delta State government claimed the land belongs to Dennis Osadebe University, Awai, Asaba. The chairman of the task force said they were mandated by the state government to recover all government lands illegally occupied by individuals or corporate bodies across the states. He cautioned land grabbers across the states to stay away from government property.
We are people that will do everything under the law. Where we are standing is in the university land. And this land was acquired so many years ago. We have the documents as state government. If you want to see it, we'll give it to you. If you live here, go to the university authority. The archive is there. This place, people just come, organize themselves as community members, selling this land to very, very innocent people. And even these innocent characters, some of them even go to the ministry, and the ministry told them, this is a government land. Some of the characters of the ministry even give them a building approval. A building approval is not a CFO.
Despite complaints by these occupants, the state government is determined not to allow suspected land grabbers encroach into public property. In Asaba, for News Central, Austin, Azu.
Let's also tell you that several people have been trapped as a one-story building collapsed in Minna, the Niger state capital. Emergency officials who raced to the scene on Friday succeeded in rescuing 7 persons who are currently receiving treatment at the Minna General Hospital. The building is located at the popular New Market area in Minna, the capital of the North Central state. The manual evacuation of the debris has commenced, and the authorities said machines would be mobilized quickly so that those suspected to be trapped could be rescued. Director, Information and Special Duties of Niger State Emergency Management Agency, Hussein Ibrahim, who was at the scene of the incident, confirms that the rescue operation is ongoing. The health matters. The Nigerian Hypertension Society, through its president, Nyesom Wike, has called for raising awareness and promoting the prevention, early detection and treatment of hypertension in Nigeria. The call was made in a press statement on May 17, commemorating World Hypertension Day. Dr. Ezewuike revealed that 1 in every 3 adults in Nigeria has hypertension, according to the society's findings. He highlighted the rising cost of hypertension treatment medicines as a major concern, emphasizing that hypertension often lacks symptoms until serious bodily damage occurs. Therefore, many Nigerians are unaware they have it, and few of those aware receive proper treatment. Obesity, sedentary lifestyles, and diets high in salts, fats, and sugar are driving the increase in hypertension burden. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency has commenced engagement with women groups on the benefits of the human papillovirus vaccines expected to reduce women's vulnerability to cervical cancer. This is ahead of government's plan to start the second phase of its routine immunization program aimed at preventing cervical cancer and expected to be rolled out in 21 states of the Federation. Idong Joseph reports.
According to available data, about 8,000 women in Nigeria die from cervical cancer, which is caused by human papillomal virus. While vaccines over the years have been developed to help prevent cervical cancer, there are, however, misconceptions about the use of the vaccine following their introduction to Nigeria.
We had the vaccines, we had the finances, we had the human resource, but we now had people who took it upon themselves to actually make Nigerians or deceive Nigerians, so to say, and put all sorts of stories out there where people spent their money to even make high-quality HD videos to try to discourage Nigerians.
As part of efforts to eliminate cervical cancer in the country, the federal government sometime last year began introducing the human papillomal virus vaccine into its routine immunization program. In order to introduce the vaccine into the second phase of the program, covering 21 remaining states, the federal government has commenced engagement with relevant women groups to sensitize them on the benefits of the vaccine.
The vaccines are open our eyes. The one thing that is most important is that we need to sensitize people way ahead of when the vaccine would come. And that lesson was almost very costly for us in the first phase, and we're leaving no stone unturned in the second phase.
Because of their connection and also the vast network they have across the country, the major expectation is for them to pass right and correct information about the HPV vaccine so that eligible girls aged 9 to 14 years can come out for the vaccine to be vaccinated in schools and in communities with the vaccine from 27th of May 2024.
With cervical cancer being the second most common causes of death among cancer patients, notably women between the ages of 15 to 44 in Nigeria, experts say it is a wake-up call to protect the next generation of girls from the scourge. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
Still ahead, Rwandan President Kagame submits his candidate's file ahead of presidential election. More after the break. Stay with us. Good to know you're still with us. Let's head now to East Africa, where the Rwandan President Paul Kagame has submitted his candidate file to the Electoral Commission ahead of the presidential election on July 15. The 66-year-old has been de facto leader of the tiny landlocked nation since the 1994 genocide and presided over controversial constitutional changes in 2015 that opened the way for him to remain in power until 2034. He is now seeking re-election for a fourth term as president.
As per laws, and all the required documents were submitted by the candidate of RPF for the RPF in Hotanyi, and we have all the documents now. So the next steps now is going to be, after receiving all the aspirants for these posts, for the president and for the...
Let's join our business desk for today's business news.
Business News in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Welcome to Business News. Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, is commencing the sale of e-tags, which will grant access to the 24 federal airports in the country from May 17, 2024. This announcement was made in a statement posted on FAN's official X account. The sale of e-tags is in line with a presidential directive approved during the latest Federal Executive Council meeting, which mandated the payment of tolls at the gates of federal airports for all users. Motorists without e-tags will still have the option to pay cash at the access gates. The FAN e-tags will provide 1 year of access to the airport gates, while those without e-tags will need to pay in cash. The cost of each tag has not been disclosed at the time of this report. And moving on, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has strongly denied allegations that it calculates customs duties using foreign currency. The authority stated that these claims are baseless and inaccurate, emphasizing that its procedures for duty calculation are strictly governed by the Customs Act 2015. In a press release issued on May 16, the GRA urged the Ghanaian public to dismiss such false allegations. The calculation of duties and taxes on imported vehicles, according to the GRA, is primarily determined by the country of origin, taking into account factors such as the vehicle's cost, freight charges, and insurance expenses. These clarifications were made in response to a viral media interview where Eric Bocheng, the president of the Automobile Dealers Union, highlighted the adverse impact of duty calculations in foreign currency on the domestic car import industry. And finally, in Southern Africa, South Africa is likely to have achieved a primary budget surplus for the first time in 15 years, signaling progress in curbing the country's worryingly high debt levels. Preliminary data indicates that the primary surplus for the year through March 2024 was 0.4% of gross domestic product, GDP, matching the National Treasury's previous forecast. The preliminary main budget deficit for 2023 to 2024 is estimated to be 4.6% of GDP, slightly better than the earlier projection of 4.7%. The Treasury aims to stabilize debt at 75.3% of GDP in 2025 to 2026 by implementing various measures. Final outcomes and more detailed metrics will be published in the medium-term budget policy statement in October. The first quarter GDP data, to be announced on June 4, will also impact the results. That's the offering on business news at this time. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter. The news continues shortly. Bye for now.
Business News in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money. Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
In sport, Nigerian table tennis players Offiong Edem and Olajide Omotayo have qualified to the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. The duo, who are currently in Rwanda for the ITTF Africa Olympic qualifiers, were in blistering form in their quest for Olympic tickets. Africa Games bronze medalist Edem defeated Tunisians Fadwa Gassi 4-2 in the women's singles semi-final to secure a fifth appearance. She has competed at the 2004, 2012, 2016 and 2020 Olympic Games. In the other semi-final, Cameroon's Sarah Handful defeated Nigeria's Fatima Bello 4-2 to also claim an Olympic spot. Meanwhile, in the men's singles semi-final, Nigeria's Olajide Omotayo dispatched Congolese Bola Idowu 4-0 to qualify for the Olympics. This will be his second consecutive appearance, with his first being the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. The trio of Olajide Omotayo, Offiong Edem, and Haruna Quadri have now qualified for the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Congratulations to the trio. And out of football, Juventus have sacked Massimiliano Allegri 2 days after he led the side to the Italian Cup. The Turin side beat Atalanta 1-0 in Rome, but Allegri was sent off late on for ranting at the match officials and waving away sporting director during the celebrations. The Italian Football Federation's disciplinary tribunal has launched an investigation into Allegri. And on Friday, Juventus confirmed he was no longer their boss. Juve's 1-0 win over Atalanta, thanks to Dusan Vlahovic's early goal, gave Allegri a record 5th Coppa Italia as a manager. Even before his antics at the Stadio Olimpico, the 56-year-old had been expected to lose his job and be replaced by Bologna coach Thiago Motta. But now, he will not be there for the final 2 Serie A games against Bologna and Monza. And now to athletics. One of athletics' all-time legends will get one last crack at the Olympic Games. Kenenisa Bekele, who will turn 42 years old next month, is set to compete at his first Olympics since 2012 after the Ethiopian Athletics Federation announced its 2024 Olympic marathon themes on Thursday. It has been a long road back to the sport's grandest stage for the great Bekele. After dominating the world of distance running in the 2000s, a decade in which he won 3 Olympic golds and 5 World Championship gold across the 5,000 and 10,000 meters, Bekele finished 4th in the 10,000 meters at the 2012 Olympics before moving up to the marathon in 2014. After finishing 2nd at April's London Marathon, Bekele is off to Paris for one final Olympic battle with 39-year-old Eliud Kipchoge, who is chasing an unprecedented Olympic marathon triplet. And to wrap up sports updates, Kenya long-distance runner Rogers Wemoy, a world junior 10,000-meter champion, was on Friday banned for 6 years for repeated athlete biological passport violations. The Athletics Integrity Unit called the violations extremely serious to August 8, 2023 and running until 2029. All his results from July 18, 2016 through to August of last year have been quashed. Wemoy, 27 years of age, most notably won the World Junior Championships in byelections in 2016 and Commonwealth Games bronze at the Gold Coast in 2018, both over 10,000 meter. He finished 4th at the Doha World Championships in 2019, 7th in the event at the COVID-delayed Tokyo Olympics in 2021, and 15th at the 2022 World Championships in Eugene. Wemoy, based in Japan, claimed that the ABP discrepancies were caused by changes in climate and altitude, but the panel rejected his explanation. Sad one for the young athlete. And that wraps it up on Sports Update. I am Favor Itua. Up next is entertainment.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile. Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
And straight into entertainment, following the tragic passing of renowned Nollywood actor Junior Pope Odowondo in a boat accident, his body has been returned to his hometown in Enugu State, Nigeria. The actor's burial arrangements, which took place today, the 17th of May 2024, included a lying-in-state ceremony and burial rites according to his family. Emotional photos and videos from the funeral have circulated on social media, evoking heartfelt reactions from fans and colleagues. Family and friends gathered to pay their respects and honor his memory during this solemn occasion. Now, still entertainment. On the international scene, a New Mexico judge is reviewing Alec Baldwin's request to dismiss an involuntary manslaughter indictment for the 2021 fatal shooting of cinematographer Haling Hodgkins on the Rust movie set. Baldwin, who has pleaded not guilty, argues that the grand jury was giving inaccurate and biased testimony, diverting attention from exculpatory evidence. Now, prospective prosecutors who accused Baldwin of attempting to avoid accountability insist they followed proper procedures. Now, the indictment offers 2 standards for prosecution: negligent use of a firearm or causing death without due caution. A trial is set for July. The case reopened after a new gun analysis despite a previous charge dismissal. Meanwhile, weapons survivor Hannah Gutierrez-Rees received the maximum sentence for her role and is appealing. Rust filming resumed in Montana under an agreement with Hodgkins' husband. Well, that's all we can take on entertainment tonight. We'll take a short break, and when we are back, we will bring you updates on what's trending tonight.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Now, moving away from entertainment news, the hashtag Penelope takes center stage in our trending stories today, and here's why. Penelope is trending after the newly released season of Bridgerton, which focuses on the character Penelope Featherington, played by Irish actress Nicola Coughlan. Irish actress was released on Netflix. Now, the topic has sparked a huge discussion on social media. Want to know how tweeps are reacting to this? Let us read some of these reactions on X. Now, this one is from Juliet. Juliet says, Calling really said that he preferred sleeping so that he could see Penelope in his dreams. The Bridgeting men are really pathetic when they are in love. Bridgeting Netflix. Now, this one is from Spoilers, or should I say Dara's Pen. It says the teacher storyline is genius because we think Calling is teaching Penelope, but that's not the case, not really. Penelope is the one teaching Calling that being yourself doesn't make you less worthy of love. Someone will love you as you are fully, flaws and all, flaws especially. Let's take another one. This one here is from EMZ, and EMZ says, I'm already stressed about Calling, finding out that Penelope is whistle down with crying face emoji. Of course, the hashtag Bridgeting Netflix. That's all for tonight on What's Trending. You can share your thoughts as well across our social media platforms at News Center Television. Of course, I am Sam Dandy. This is bye for now.
And that's all tonight. Before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Federal government Labour to return to negotiation table over new minimum wage. Rivers State Governor Fubara declares opponents defeated. Court denies Binance firm executive Gambayan bail. Rwandan President Kagame hands in his candidate file ahead of presidential election. I'd like to hear from you. Please send your witness reports to the number on your screen. You can follow us on social media at News Central TV. You can watch live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. As always, thank you very much for sticking with us through the week. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday.